mean, there's just so many great things on the horizon for us.
I know that if I get up and I work my tail off, I will succeed. Oh, what up?
So the preparation, Adam and I do prepare for these, by the way. So if you don't think that we prepare, we do. I promise we do. But the preparation really is just kind of like mapping out our general flow of discussion. And sometimes we start talking about things and Adam's like, hey, we just need to start recording because I want to get this on camera. So we were talking recently because I have a passion for mentorship. I think you do too.
I do.
I mean,
helping people, coaching people in my blood, for sure.
I love seeing people just succeed. I love when my friends win. I think that's probably why it's like easier for me to have like a high value friends, I guess would be the word for it. Because I love when they win. Like if one of my friends closed the deal for $100 million or something, I'd be like, hell yeah.
Stoked.
Like just pump for them, you know? Cause like it doesn't take away from anything I'm doing. So like, why would I be upset about
man,
that?
I really, at any level, man, I truly find there's a lot of rewards, right? Financial is one of them, but emotional rewards. And sometimes they're financial for myself too, but helping other people succeed. I mean, man, that's why I'm here, fat and weird, but also why I've done a lot of the things that I've done. Coaching, like I said, in my blood. I used to use an analogy when I was a coach, personal trainer of like, and I hate to sound sexist, but like helping a woman do a box jump. A lot of these folks would come in my gym specifically, a lot of times women in their, mid 30s, fear-stricken to jump onto something.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't matter. It could be a single plate on the ground, whatever. And the just accomplishment, unlocking of their self-esteem when they do it, of like a thing they could not do, and now they can do it. Oh, man. I don't know. I feel good for...
Yeah. Like
myself, I'm selfish. I want to feel that feeling alongside them.
Yeah, I think we've talked a little bit too about that selfishness, like, and gift giving. Like I love to see Letty's reaction. Like it's a selfish thing because I buy the gift to get the reaction, But, when I was talking about this mentorship, I was talking to my friend Enrico. And if you don't know who he is, find him on Instagram. He's a great guy, puts out amazing content. But I was just telling him, like, I really struggle with content lately because I don't feel like drawn to put out content anymore. And I feel like kind of like a little bit of an imposter doing business content. I think it's because I like compare myself to my friend's success, or I just always feel like I'm not as successful as I actually am. And I was kind of explaining that to him. And he said that he doesn't feel like I have imposter syndrome. I forgot what his words were. It's like achievement.
Oh, yeah, you put a ceiling on yourself.
Yeah, like essentially, yeah, he said...
limiting beliefs.
You've reached a great level of success, and you don't have imposter syndrome, but you're scared. Your mind is trained for safety and survival, and, it's all just new territory for you. And so it's really about, like, you are putting, like, a fake ceiling on yourself and being like...
Man, we live in our own worlds,
Yeah.
And, I know both of us, similar upbringing. I grew up very poor, very poor. There were plenty of people much poorer than me, but we did not have extra. We did not have whatever. My mom had to work her tail off, and then also as a single mother pay for, childcare for me and all that stuff, right? So hard to get ahead. I had a world that, I don't know, man, wealthy people just were born that way or whatever. But as you get out in the world and you start learning and you start seeing, you kind of expand your mind, if you will.
Well, yeah, and then I think it's like what we've talked about, that I've learned about the different levels of success that I never even knew existed, because I had a similar upbringing to you as far as like the monetary level. I mean, I had both my parents, but my parents were starting their business, right. So everything was going into the business. So like we did not have cable TV. Like we had the antenna, which was 7, 13, 28, and 56, and sometimes Channel 4.
Kids are going to have no idea what that even means.
Yeah, it was Fox, ABC, NBC, and PBS.
Yeah. Were like, why didn't you just get on Wi-Fi?
Yeah, there was no Wi-Fi back then. And like our power would get shut off because we couldn't afford the electricity bill.
Sure.
Things like that would happen to us. I remember when Hurricane Opal happened when I was like 7. Sure. And
I remember Opal.
Yeah, and so my sister had just been born not too long before that, and our house flooded, and my parents couldn't afford, like, we didn't have flood insurance because we were not close to the water, like, because Opal had bad storm surge. We didn't have flood insurance, and like insurance is just like, yeah, figure it out. And my parents were like, well, we can't afford this. So
to kind of touch back on imposter syndrome, like you said, look at what all you've done, man.
Yeah.
Do you know how to do any of that?
No,
You weren't ready.
no.
Well, yeah, we're never ready, right? And so, like, I've had people, whatever. I'm sure they're doing it now. What do you know about a podcast? Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah.
Okay, well, what did I know about opening a gym when I started? Not a lot. What did I know about landscaping when I started? Not a lot. Fried chicken? Not a lot. Sonic, fast food, various stuff? Not a lot. Cookies? Not a lot. I know a hell of a lot about cookies now. Come at me. I know a lot, you know vastly more than I, but you had a big old head start on me. So, like, you're going to get in there every day and figure it out. And a lot of times, because I know some of the stuff, like the mentorship, the coaching, sometimes you're too close to see your own issues.
Yeah.
And just like a coach in weightlifting or something else, you can go, you're moving funny.
Yeah.
Well, I can't feel that I'm moving funny. Well, I can see that you are. So whether it's looking at a P&L or just talking with the person and going, man, you seem tired.
Yeah.
Or you seem whatever, right?
You need help.
Yeah, man, there's a lot to it, but there's a lot of ways you can help people in growing a business, like taking care of a living thing, man. So sometimes, you can help without even knowing just your own, your own trials and tribulations that you've been through can really help somebody else.
Yeah, and I think that's why I think I'm so passionate about it, is because like I've gone through a lot of things that like I don't want anyone else to necessarily have to go through if they can like get around
especially
it,
expensive mistakes.
Yeah.
If you can help
I've
learn
been-
from my dollars.
Yeah, I have a lot of expensive mistakes. So something I'm probably going to start doing the next couple of weeks is just doing a free consult call a couple of times a week with some people, record it for maybe some content wise, so that hopefully I can get social media content from the thing I enjoy doing, which is helping people.
Yeah,
so
dude.
It's kind of like a win-win situation
Something
there.
Y'all stay tuned.
But, going back to like you never done a podcast before and stuff like that, what podcasts did you like before we kind of started this thing? Is there any that you listen to regularly or?
Well, Joe Rogan. Right?
Yeah.
Everybody, me and everybody else, the whole world. No, I guess it's dependent. And there are like folks I know I like, they're usually comedians. Today with the way the world is, everybody's so damn serious about everything that like, look, I may not like it. I may like, just like, I kind of want to just hear it with a nice little fun spin to most of it.
Right. Yeah. Well, now be honest, comedians talk a lot about things that not a lot of people are willing to talk about because they can house it in the comedy area, which allows
timing
them to like,
and all that helps, Daniel Tosh, I think, can say anything he wants to. Not that he has a podcast, but literally the stuff that man has said is hilarious.
What's the other guy that's like Andrew Schultz?
Well, he's I don't know. I'm gonna name.
Okay, but yeah, there's a few comedians that I've like watched that like they say stuff. And I'm just like, no one else I know could get away with this.
Yeah, I like Bert Kreischer. I like some of his stuff. I've seen him on some podcasts or whatever. But
well, people even brought up who was it recently that did theirs the Netflix special that like got a lot of kickback for talking about like. It was a lot on like the LGBTQ stuff, but they got a lot of kickback from that on on Netflix on their special, and they were just like, "Yeah, it is what it is."
It is what it is.
So.
I don't know what it. I don't know what. I'm not siding one way or the other, but yeah, I don't know. I like a podcast where people can be real. I watch a lot of clips of podcasts on certain topics because sometimes they just kind of are too niche for me.
Right. Yeah.
Too masculine or too whatever the whole time.
Well, one of my favorites, I have not listened to them in years, so like if they've changed, I don't remember, but it used to be Mind Pump.
Oh, Mind Pump was good.
And that's a lot about kind of like how I like structuring ours, which is, a lot of talking in the beginning that's just like open-ended conversational, how was your weekend, what's going on in your life, that kind of talking. And then the last bit of their podcast would be directed at like fitness questions, and for us I feel like we dive more into like the deeper business stuff throughout the podcast.
I love it.
It's similar, not quite the same, but I used to like that because when I first started watching it or listening to it, I would skip the first part because I'm like, I don't care about these people, I just want to hear the fitness questions and the answers. And then as I like got to listen to their personalities come out and the answering it, then you're like, maybe I'll
hang out with the bros. Man.
Then I'll listen to the beginning a little bit more.
For sure.
And then next thing you know, I was like, oh yeah, I enjoy listening to like what's going on in their life, But yeah, the Mind Pumps. I also really like podcasts where I feel like people do a really good job of like understanding who they're interviewing before they get there.
Oh yeah, doing a little research.
Have you ever listened to the A Diary of a CEO podcast? Mm-mm. I don't know the guy's name. I'll show you later, but like he interviews a lot of really interesting people. I bet he's probably interviewed like Hormozy and those,
Sure.
but he's like interviewed some doctors. He finds like the best in a field and like interviews them.
I like it.
You know,
I
and
like it.
his podcasts are very deep and thought provoking. And then he'll even ask people like about, you know, specific examples of your younger years. You know who also does a good job? The Hot Ones. Mm-hmm. He does a really good job of interviewing people.
I forgot
like
to mention.
They bring up,
I really like that podcast.
Yeah, they bring up like obscure things.
I like
sometimes.
that they're doing something too. I like the theme of it.
Yeah, I love Hot Ones. That's a really good example of things I like. Just because you can tell that they've done a lot of research.
Jennifer Lawrence on Hot Ones. Watch it. It's hilarious.
Kevin Hart on there.
Oh, he's funny too.
But they do. But I mean, they'll like pull up a picture and they're like, you know, when you were 19 years old, you did this, and they're like, how do you know this
How do you
stuff?
have that?
And it's just, I love that they do that amount of research, that they bring people back, you know, sometimes before they were famous and all that stuff.
Yeah, they dig, man. They dig. Be careful what's out there, yo.
Yeah, that's
Never
true.
know.
But speaking of podcasts and structuring, I actually asked ChatGPT to help us with our podcast. And I don't remember exactly what I asked it, but essentially it was like, this is my background. This is Adam's background. Ask us like 10 questions, I think, and let us answer those 10 questions. And then from that, you generate a list of business related topics that we can talk about in our podcast based on, you know, where you measure our level of expertise, I guess would be it, you know, or
AI, y'all.
So
evolving right in front of you.
I think it'll be really interesting because we'll probably have an episode. I don't know if it'll be the next one, but definitely the one after that, where we'll be like essentially like AI drove this podcast, you know,
Powered by AI.
which I think
ChatGPT, call us. Maybe don't. I don't know.
I think it'd be fun to transcribe all these podcasts.
Yeah, I do too.
Then give it the analytics and then say like, okay, tell us how to get better, because then it can look at the podcast and be like, well, this podcast you talked about X, Y, and Z.
We got a little docu-series in the making, buddy.
Yeah.
We could.
Yeah.
Are we the first? We'll say we're the first.
Yeah, probably not, but
We'll say we're the first.
But, well, speaking of docuseries, since you dropped that one, that's not really on our agenda, but I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
So Lifetime TV reached out to Aubrey and I, and they said that they're looking for bakery owners to do a docuseries on just like cool bakeries and bakery owners.
So obviously.
And so like, yeah, of course we're like prime candidates.
Right.
But because of that, we have a call literally like the end of this. As soon as we finish this podcast, Aubrey and I will be on a call with this producer and director and stuff for this docuseries for Lifetime TV. Don't know anything about it really, but all I know it's on bakery owners and their stories. So pretty excited on that.
That's killer, dude. I mean, yeah, it's killer. And like, I mean, we talked about it earlier, but the production time, the time it's going to take, you know, will be the time that Fat and Weird has fully locked in. I mean, it'll be a couple of quarters from now. So
yeah,
it'll be like, go out to your local store and pick it up.
Well, yeah, and depending on when they film it, we may be like doing some of our first big wholesale orders at the time, which would be really cool to like document it.
The struggle,
way more than documenting. Yeah. So you know how like I feel like a lot of times on TV they like have to make up drama. It's like you don't need to make up drama. We'll
come in here.
Provide you with plenty of
Brad
drama.
and I'll be stressed out and yelling at each other, I'm sure.
I think people underestimate the amount of work it takes to get to the level that a lot of these people are at. I think, you know, it's easy to look at Jeff Bezos now and Elon Musk now and go, well, I don't feel like they're working that hard. Mm-hmm. Well, they've already stacked up the undeniable proof of how good they are and the companies that they built. I don't think that anyone that was hanging out with Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk or Alex Hormozy when they were starting these companies would have hung around unless they knew what it was going to be. You know?
I agree with that. I will say this. I will say that luck is not required for a successful business, and I want to be careful with the use of the word luck, but they were primed and ready to go when the internet took off or when whatever. I watched a thing the other day, and like UGG shoe sales was higher than Nike shoe sales in their first 5 years, respectively, of business. Nike just happened to be there when jogging took off.
Oh, well, yeah, and they also happened to sign Michael Jordan.
Well, they did, and that's a huge part of their business. But like professional runners, and that was it. They were trying to get into running,
right.
And then it was like, oh, everybody needs a pair of tennis shoes now, and I've got like tons of Nikes now.
Yeah, what did people wear before
I don't know.
tennis shoes were acceptable to wear everywhere?
Just like dress shoes, like loafers, like I don't know.
Yeah, I never
Watch
thought about
Peaky
that.
Blinders, dude.
No, but that's
Obviously
true.
it's way
Like,
before Peaky Blinders.
yeah, but that's wild. I never thought about that. Like majority of people, like nowadays, tennis shoes are the shoes you wear out of your house. But like people didn't.
I don't think so.
We've definitely athleisured ourselves.
Oh,
for
yeah,
sure.
for
Most
sure.
people are
Comfort.
wearing, like, athleisure.
Well, that's another part to that too, but that's a whole nother tangent.
I think that's what I've really learned is that I think obviously to have an Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos type success, I do believe luck is involved because it comes down to timing and you can't predict the timing. They did the right things. It all lined up. That's how you get the astronomical growth. But I think if you took timing away, you took all luck away,
solid companies.
they'll still have huge, solid companies that are massive in
well,
size.
and it's luck's not required. It just can happen, and you can damn be sure that you can't get lucky in the market if you're not in the market.
Yeah, so you can always say that like Fat and Weird.
We're about to get I mean,
well, no, I would argue that we were lucky because majority of the financial capital used to build the building we were in was because COVID occurred and we had rapid, insane growth during COVID.
Right.
The argument would be, well, if we weren't in the market and we weren't already laying the groundwork, then when COVID happened, nothing would have happened, right? But because I had already, by the time COVID happened, I was already renting my own facility. I'd moved out of a different facility. I'd already started ordering equipment. I was already putting in the work. Then a fortunate event, which I'm not calling COVID a fortunate event, but the events of COVID did catapult a lot of e-commerce brands. I mean, HydroJug, my friends at HydroJug, they made a killing.
But let's unpack that a little further because that's what everybody gets to see now, us included. But in the moment of like the whole world shutting down, we're panicking. What are we going to do? You didn't know that right away. Yeah, you didn't know what was going to happen, so you had to have the fortitude to go. And I'm digging in. You know, like
so I guess it looks like luck when you look back on it. But
I'm digging in, man.
The truth is,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I had businesses running at that time, and I didn't know if I was getting paid or not. Like because I was contract service based business at that time, so it's like, well, nobody's in the office, and it's like, do I service your property? Like my guys need to get paid. I need to get paid.
Yeah.
Anyways, we hung in there, and it worked out. But yeah. So I don't think luck's required, but I think it can hop in and pour gasoline all over a solid fire, or it can burn up.
But the whole point is, if you don't have a spark there, it's not going to do anything.
You ain't getting lucky out of the market.
The gasoline of luck. We're for sure going to Process Expo, and that's in Chicago,
Chi-Town,
the month after, right?
Coming to see y'all. That's right.
And the difference between Packaging Expo is more about like the machines that package the actual product, so it's a lot more of our flow wrapper, our vertical bagging machine. There will be other machines there because like Riser brings like their VMAGs and all that stuff, but Process Expo is things like
pretty much it could be the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole process from like beginning to end, which is really beneficial to us because now we've kind of moved more into being this like industrial manufacturing facility. So with that, we're going to need more capabilities. We're talking about, some of our customers coming up are wanting 20,000 packaged cookies a month on top of like our e-com orders and everything that we're already doing. And you add in some of these other companies like DashMart and things like that, you're looking at like 50,000 cookies packaged per month. And then our e-commerce orders on top of that. So we definitely have to, I guess, nail in our processes. So Process Expo is going to be really beneficial. Yeah,
it'll be eye-opening for sure.
Have you been to an expo with this kind of machines yet?
Not with food. No, not with food.
It's going to blow your mind.
I'm super
I remember
excited.
the first time I saw some of these machines, I was like, wait, this machine does what?
Oh, I know. Our sales reps, just like if I had all the money in the world, I would just have like a weird small, like how it's made, make my own sandwiches or whatever. There's so much cool stuff out there. But no, I mean, like what you were saying, dude, we are about to 100x the brand in a way and fast. And so to do that, we've got a lot of cool partnerships. We've got a lot of cool, we're going up to see Riser. We're going to be able to do some content with them.
Yeah, we're actually Riser,
an international brand. I mean,
Riser's actually helping us right now try to nail down a co-packer. Essentially, we have the ability to add on to our facility, but the addition is going to take
time,
12 to 18 months. I think that it would be a very ambitious but possible timeline to say that by the end of 2024 we could have this new facility online. However, that's a lot of time to not be servicing potential customers.
That's right.
So
That's
our idea is to bring a co-packer in the mix to help start getting the rollouts occurring to these other places. Then as we build our facility, to bring some of it in-house. But I think that I would like, my opinion, which I think Adam's on the same page, is like to remain a strategic partner with that co-packer to continue to handle the volume that we can't do here until we build a West Coast facility.
Right. That's right.
Or something like that. And then honestly, even after we build a West Coast facility, we may continue to have this partner if we just need the help with the volume. Maybe they start producing a different product for us than what we're doing. But I actually just don't see a time when we're handling all the volume ourselves from a couple of reasons. One, strategically, you don't want to have a single point failure facility, meaning like if something happens here, like we can't make cookies.
No, we don't. We don't. But we also, we also have the ability, like you said, though, to use them for R&D, for innovations, for new products.
Yeah.
I mean, just the sky's the limit.
Right. Right. But, if they perform well for this whole 18 months, then obviously it's like, well, let's figure out what other ways we can continue to partner with them, and use them. And, maybe we start doing the cookie dough bites that we wanted to do and stuff like that, and they continue just to pump out cookies.
That's right. I mean, we've got a lot of different opportunities, but the cool thing is, and the cool leverage point or card that we have in our hand is we are about to 100x this brand, regardless of this co-packer or not. We are going to do it from this facility. We are going to keep expanding, and we're going to find 10 facilities, but it would be so sweet if we could find a scenario where we could infuse some capital into an existing co-packer that has some space or even some land under control that's developable already. We're in the pre-stages. If we had developable land, it'd be a little faster already. If we had a slab sitting there even. I mean, we need a partnership or an acquisition. So we're shopping both.
Yeah. I think that, just to give people some perspective, the best month we ever had with Fat and Weird, we did like 520,000 or something like that in the whole month.
Solid.
One PO from Myers is going to be greater than that.
Yep.
Just one PO. And that's a monthly recurring order. Granted, their subsequent orders may not be as big as that first initial order, but at the same time,
they're just one of our wholesale customers.
Have Publix coming on shortly after that, Target for regional rollouts. Like all this stuff is happening very quickly.
Well, then that's not including all the stuff we got working behind the scenes that we can't even really talk about with the other couple national brands that have shown interest in us and whatever. So, I mean, y'all stay tuned there, but there are a couple of very large national brands that are interested in a cookie product. So,
and that's really cool opportunity because those brands wanted them to be Fat and Weird cookies, like not just a white label situation, which is
they want us, baby. They want the name, they want the brand. They know that we can, send love their way more. And the only real thing, so the partnership would be when you have that kind of like tried and true brand that's national that everybody knows. It's like boom, instant validity. Because it's still a little older, slower moving in like retail establishments. It doesn't move like social media does. You're still getting some old white hair that like, so if you have like like Hershey's, like our deal with Hershey's, it's really helpful. Otherwise, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it helps bring a little bit of, I guess, notoriety.
Yeah, I don't know how to say anything else because it'd be obvious who the brands are, but they're big. Everybody's heard about them. Everybody's known about them, and we would benefit each other.
Right. So. Yeah. So I think that's just a lot of really cool opportunities on the horizon. And I always struggle with like sharing opportunities or things that I know are coming up because I don't want to feel like I'm bragging. I also don't want to like jinx it.
Right.
I mean, there was a time that we were selling Fat and Weird. It was literally about a year ago at this time. So it's just crazy in a year, like how vastly different my life is than what I thought it was going to be probably. But we were going to sell fat, and we had a great offer. It was, over $10 million by the end of the payments. And literally 4 days before inking the papers, it just fell through.
Yeah, man. And more deals fail than not. It kind of sucks, but there's going to be like a little sweet slice there at the end, because we're going to do things with this brand that weren't ever going to be done before. And
well, yeah, I think the difference between it being a 10 million company and a 20 million company or a $100 million company is a lot more work, but we're going to get there because I've got a really great team to help me get there, and I don't have to do it alone. I think a lot of my issue before was like, it just was a heavy burden by myself.
Well, it's like, man, you kind of look at it differently, like when you start a business, you think that you're the quarterback or whatever. But as you get maybe wiser, at least I have maybe a little more money put together, I'm the team owner. I want to win a damn Super Bowl. I'll go win a damn Super Bowl. I'll put the team together. I get the manager to put the team together. I get the coach to get the team. Yeah. It's like, I sit in my box and watch the team win.
Well, I think it's kind of how you grow. Like when you first start a company, you are the quarterback. You're in there of a 3-man fight.
You're the quarterback of the whole team. It's just you. You're the line, the defense.
Yeah, it's kind of everything, right? And then eventually you've got a 11-man team, right? So then you can actually have a full offensive team. But then eventually you leave the quarterback position for the coach position, and the quarterback is filled in by someone else, and now you're the coach of the team. And then eventually
promote yourself out of a job, man.
You hire the coach, and then finally you're the team owner. And then, you could argue, hey, the team owner really doesn't have to do anything. And maybe that's true, but the whole point is that they
hold the team together. They hold everybody accountable. They hold, somebody does.
And they got to write all the checks.
They do. Yeah. So. They have to count all that money. Actually, their accountants do. But.
Yeah, but I mean, the point is, a lot of them, you got to spend money to make money. And I think that's the hard part when you're starting out, is you don't have the money to spend. Right. So you just have to, you are the monetary thing. You're trading your time for the money. And
but that's why also entrepreneurialism and business has always felt so safe to me, is because like, if I lose, it's at my expense. If I win, it's at my expense. I can work harder. I can learn. I can network. I can ask for help. I can, who knows what, but it's me. If I go dump money in the stock market or crypto or whatever, like, it's gambling to me. Like, I don't have any control over any of that. Yeah. I don't know anything about that. So like, as an entrepreneur, at first it feels like you're constantly just putting money on red or black, right? But then as you learn, to keep the analogy going, if my money's on black, I'm reducing the amount of reds on the board somehow, like, because I'm able to.
Right. Yeah.
Because I'm controlling what I can.
Yeah, I think that's so. When we quit our jobs, my parents, not as much as Aubrey's parents, are just like, well, what are you going to do if this fails? And I remember I had a conversation with Rob Bailey about this, and I was like, it's kind of nerve wracking because we're about to go like all in on this, and like, what if we fail? And he was like, well,
bro, what if you succeed?
No, but he was just like, what is failing look like? Right. And I remember I was like, well, I would have to like go back and get a job like I have now, and so would Aubrey. And he goes, so failing means like doing what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so plan B is your life.
Yeah, and I think that's what really hit me, is that like, he's like, you already have skills that that could get you the current roles you're in. So failing would mean that you tried it, maybe you lost some money because it was a business endeavor, but you just ended right back up just working corporate jobs like you were doing before, doing the same things you were doing. Like, is that really failing? No. I think at this point in my life, I'd have too many skills to fail. Like, yeah, my business may not succeed or things may, but I have too many.
Yeah, you do.
I have too much experience, too many lessons learned that like.
No, you've been tested. You've been tested. Internally, not to others. So employees worry about a resume. They worry about what they can show to the world. I don't care what you believe about me. I care what I believe. I care what I believe about me. You're exactly right. Yeah. I can't fail because like, I can sell. I can lift things. Yeah, damn, I can organize. I might have to go get a temporary something until I figure my life out. But that'd only be if I like got, I don't know, some sadness thing took over me. Like if it wasn't about my action for a while, but otherwise, dude. Get
Well,
up, go to work.
Yeah, I have too many transferable skills. Like, it's like I just know how to create a business now. It's like even if I want to, I'd be like, you know what, Aubrey and I are really great at organizing. We just started organizing business.
Oh, done. For sure.
For $1,000, we come to your home.
Oh
all
yeah,
day.
you have $10 million business.
Yeah, we come to your home all day and we organize your stuff. We go out and buy like containers and
Dude,
we put
nobody.
It into, you know what I'm saying? Like there's people pay for services and conveniences. All you need to do is figure out who in your area needs these kind of things, and you just be like, I can do those things. And then you start a business that way. And eventually you become the limiting factor in your business. So you bring on other people and you train them how to do the business. And then they start going to houses and doing it while you're going to other houses and doing it. And then you get a bigger business. And I mean, that's how all businesses work from the scale point. And a lot of people are too scared to make that jump into like, I've got to do this and figure it out. So there's a lot of really great second in commands. There's a lot of great people that are the Steve Jobs of the world. Like Steve Jobs didn't start Apple, but Apple needed Steve Jobs.
Yeah, innovative for sure.
Yeah, you need innovative. You need, like Austin Rags used to be for Rob. Like that's the right hand man, the guy that like you can rely on.
You need a lot of things, man. You need a lot of different things in business. Entrepreneurialism it's weird because there's one person with one, like, you're the constant at your business.
Yeah.
Then you got to build a team around you that kind of works around you though. So like,
I think that's probably the hardest part is because like, I mean, I'm a unique person.
Same.
It took a unique team to be around me because of, I mean, the way I communicate, the way my brain works. Like I'm sometimes like 20 years ahead and we need to be like an hour ahead, but Brad's thinking like 20 years from now. But so luckily I have a team now that one understands the way the way I work.
Hey,
and
man, I speak the same way. I start getting too big.
Well, yeah, I've told you before. Fast. I've even told you. Yeah, that's great. I think you're great, but like this is 2 years away.
I know, but so and then part of it because we've kind of talked about it is like as a de-stressor. I'd say like, okay, this could be a problem. This could be a problem. I just kind of say it out loud. And that way, when it happens, I just kind of go like, yep. All right.
Essentially, we own this facility outright with no debt. If Fat and Weird, which we're not saying this at all because it's quite the opposite, but if Fat and Weird were just some reason, like we get it out to all these people, it doesn't work. If just a complete flop, we could pivot so hard on doing some other product here. I don't see that ever being a scenario. Like I'm not speaking that at all.
We can make
but
anything.
I'm just trying to say is like we can do it.
Yeah, we can make anything we want. Yeah, I mean, just truthfully, the facility here is amazing. The rent you could get a loan on it from somebody else would be just absurd. Yeah, I mean, there is no real. I mean, with risk has been very well mitigated. I think the thing that we are struggling with now is how can we capitalize on all this. You know, like we can't afford to not
grow fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
and it's in that the scary part about growing fast is making sure that you hold consistency, the brand quality, like everything that you want.
Yeah.
But like I said, we have some really great phone calls coming up with some co-packers. I'm very excited about the future. I mean, there's just so many great things on the horizon for us. And we haven't even like touched.
We haven't.
I don't even think like, truthfully, like what we're talking about is like the tip of the iceberg, if you will. I know it's like a terrible analogy, but like it really is like the top of the potential of the entire company.
Oh yeah. Well, and I mean, you know that this is why we're both doing it, but it's these companies trade at hundreds of millions of dollars, man. Like,
well, I mean,
the ambition is real.
Did Hershey start with chocolate bars? I don't know what Hershey started with.
For sure.
I mean, I don't know what Hershey started with.
If you know, comment below.
But I truly believe that we can be a Hershey style or Ben and Jerry style brand where cookies were what we started with, but we're Fat and Weird.
Yep.
And there's a lot of products that fall within the Fat and Weird umbrella.
Indulgence, decadence, man. Just dessert. Yeah. Just, the bread. You know what it is. You see it. You know it's going to be good.
Well, when you think about like take and bake cookies, you think of Nestle Toll House. I mean, I do. I still think of Nestle Toll House.
Yellow package.
When you think about candy bars, I think of like Hershey's or Mars. Like those are the companies.
I think only Hershey really.
Yeah.
When I think candy bar.
Yeah, but just And
Yeah,
when,
but go
and
ahead.
when you think ice cream, you think Ben and Jerry's.
I do.
I know you can argue now. There's like Jenny's or like the Public brand or Blue Bunny or Bluebell, but like
Well,
the
we
truth
talked
is,
about-
I think about Bluebell or I think about
Ben and Jerry's was that expensive ice cream growing up that I never really got to have much at all ever.
And they load it.
It's like that catches mine every time I see it.
Yeah.
It's even the Jenny's and stuff. It's like, yeah, but that was that ice cream I couldn't have when I was a kid, so I want it.
I say all that to say that like my goal has changed in life, over like where I want to go with Fat and Weird. But like my goal now is like when you think of like desserts, like I want you to think of like, oh, Fat and Weird makes good desserts.
Yep.
Like Little Debbie is what I think of when I think of like packaged, like nostalgic.
Yeah, with
Things like
respect, because complete respect the company. Obviously, we use their products. Cheap snack treat, like lunchbox.
Yeah.
Food
I
item.
want when someone thinks of like, I guess it would be like gourmet desserts that are accessible.
Yes.
Like I can go to the store and get this
Yes.
gourmet dessert. I want them to think
Well,
of that
because we may want to enter into a cheaper snack treat. So I don't mean cheaper like bad. I just mean like we may have a little I don't know, right? The sky's the limit because we don't know.
Yeah. A lower, something
filled
that's like
bar,
a lower,
whatever.
a
Who
lower,
knows?
a lower,
Cake pop?
entry level item or something like that. Yeah. Yeah. There's, cake pops are actually probably the most fun idea
I think
that
so,
we've had
man.
because I just think that would be such a unique
Filled
opportunity.
cake pop.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
They're
no
selling
one's
for
doing that.
$2.50 for a 2-pack at Walmart.
They're selling $3.95 each at Starbucks.
I know.
And Starbucks uses our machines to make cake pops, by the way, guys. Like,
Yep. Coming for that action.
yeah. And so if you could imagine, when you bite into a red velvet cake pop and then all of a sudden it had this like cream cheese frosting core, or biting into a German chocolate cake pop that had a German chocolate frosting core, like that's what we're about to try to do.
Yep.
So
Stay tuned. R&D Kitchen
Yeah,
coming your way.
we
got some more stuff coming to the channel too.
that'll be the next episode.
Once we get our boy down here. Congratulations, Eastman. By the way.
Eastman, our videographer, had his baby like 4 days ago now.
Uh-huh.
And he'll be moving down here in October, hopefully. That's on Adam's list to get a hold of the
I'm
apartment
trying.
complexes.
Eagles Landing. If y'all watch this, Enclave, whatever.
Yeah, Enclave, yeah.
Arbor Properties.
They're all
Get
owned
at
by
me.
the same people. And
Yeah, get at me,
but
please.
Eastman, his wife, is very adamant just about the
Hey,
Enclave. So
she's nesting. Or,
Yeah.
well, I guess, I don't know how
yeah,
long
she
that
I mean
stays for a while.
Yeah, I think you just keep nesting.
Yeah.
Especially when we get two of them. So, but no, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Just hearing a little bit more about like where Fat and Weird's headed. I know it's kind of seems like it's all over the place, but it's really because we are kind of headed in multiple different directions at once. We have a lot going on the e-commerce side, a lot going on the packaged wholesale side, and then a lot going on like the frozen.
A lot of
wholesale
opportunities.
side.
We just got to make sure they work for our plan. You know?
And I would say if you ever have a question you would like us to address on the podcast, just leave it in the comments down
love
below.
it.
Love
to.
I know that you check the YouTube videos
Yep,
when they go
sure.
live. I watch it too to make sure everything's going well. So if there's something that like sticks out, like, hey man, I'd really love for you to talk about this in business. Even if we don't know anything, we'll research enough to know enough to answer a question. So as always, you're worth it. Do hard shit.
Later, y'all.